to all of my loved ones. How are you doing? I am Love Marlene 411. Thank you so much for your support. And we are here doing a follow up from last week where we were talking about how we can show up for ourselves, right? If you missed that one, please follow up and go back to that. But we're talking about how we can show up for ourselves this summer. It was called the summer of love. You know, a lot of people pour so much time into the outside and looking good on the outside, but this summer of love, we're going to be pouring in on our inside, taking care of our mental health. We're going to be focusing on positive self talk, healing the wounds from trauma. This is our summer of love and learning how to love ourselves, learning how to be better communicators, learning how to show up for ourselves. And we're going to be doing this all summer long and then continuing on. So that is the question, everybody. That is the question. Can we show up for ourselves? Because that's the hard part, everybody. It's not saying we want to do things because it's easy to talk the talk, but it's another thing to walk the walk. How can we show up for ourselves this summer? And I was thinking about some things like what I am going to try to put on my list on how I can love myself. And that's going to be, I'm going to try my best to have a better eating routine, like having a schedule of eating and not skipping meals and trying to eat healthier, drinking more water, getting more exercise, because this is about each of us as individuals. And I know my biggest issue and struggle is eating on a consistent basis. Hi, Mehmet. How are you doing? My thing is eating on a regular basis, making sure that I'm drinking my water and I'm minding my business and doing all the things that I need to do for me. Because the thing about this life is we're only going to get what we put out there. And if we don't feel that we deserve to spend some time on ourselves, then we're not going to. So, I'm speaking to the ladies, I'm speaking to the gentlemen. Show up for yourself this summer. This is called Summer of Love, and this is part two. If you missed part one, make sure you go by my channel and you check it out. I'm going to do these every Friday throughout the summer, and we're going to be tapping in and talking about how we can love ourselves better this summer. One of the things that I was talking to some of my girlfriends, some of my accountability partners, and some other people that are here as content creators, how we can love ourselves better is we have to learn how to show up for ourselves, and be authentic and real, making sure we're finding ways to get our rest, drinking our water, getting our exercise, trying to minimize our stress, doing all of those things because we deserve to take care of ourselves. And if nobody doesn't show up for you but you know, nobody's going to give you a pass and say it's time. We're the ones that have to say it's time for me to put myself first. And I get it. Life is busy, you have responsibilities. Some have to work, some have school, some have lots of different obligations. But in all of that, we should be taking care of ourselves. Hi, Sirius. How are you doing? Happy Friday. In all of that, we still got to show up for ourselves. We still got to take care of ourselves and do everything that we need to do for ourselves. And I know one thing that I need to do better. I need to have a better eating routine, and make sure I'm eating healthier, make sure I'm having a consistent exercise routine. I'm trying my best to keep my stress down. That's something that I can do to show that I love myself this summer and ongoing. See, when once you start doing something for a while and then you do so consistently, it becomes a habit, then it becomes a lifestyle. And I want the things that I start this summer to become my lifestyle. I want it to become my life. Yes, my day was amazing, serious. Um, it was great. I hope yours was as well. And that's something that I think is important, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of our age, we can always learn how to treat ourselves better. We can always learn how to minimize our stress. See, we're going to be talking about more and more some of the things that we are doing, and this is the the first check-in because last week Friday we talked about how we were going to show up for ourselves this summer, and I said I was going to come back live on the next Friday and ask you guys what kind of things are you going to do for yourself? How are you going to show up for yourself this summer? And give yourself that permission to be great, to be happy, to minimize your stress, to keep and maintain a healthy weight. What are some of the things that you are going to do? For me, something that I know that I needed to do is to stop stress eating, because I'm a stress eater. Anytime I get stressed out, first thing I want to do is get something sugary, like I want to get some candy, I want to eat some chips, I want some ice cream, and I am trying my best this summer to work on my stress management and to take a deep breath, to walk away, to get some exercise, do something other than just eating out of stress or eating out of boredom, because that's what a lot of us do. Just a lot of people don't have enough courage to say, I I I eat out of boredom, I eat out of stress, and we have to do better, right? Loved ones, we have to do better. It's not just me. I know that it's many of us. We have to do better this summer because I know that we look at ourselves in the mirror, and whether you like what you see or don't like what you see, it's all based on our stress levels, how we're taking care of ourselves, what we are allowing, are we setting boundaries? So maybe this summer you need to work on writing some things down, some boundaries about some things that maybe you are allowing too much. What is one or two ways this summer that you can work on lowering your stress? What is something that you can do to maybe minimize the amount of salt or sugar or fried food that you can eat? It starts with simple little things that we can do, and it can make a big deal later. It's small steps, lead to, big differences in our life. Because I know when I eat better, when I eat healthier, when I go for that walk, when I do things to lower my stress, I not only feel better, but I feel more confident, and it trickles down to other things because I know when I do one bad habit, like I'll maybe eat some candy, then I want chips, and then I want some fried food. So they all follow sometimes. So I'm trying to work on making some good decisions. When you make one good decision, then other good decisions will follow. So I'm trying to come up with something that I'm going to be telling myself this summer. I haven't found out what I'm going to tell myself yet, but I'm always open to some suggestions and what we can say to ourselves to have that positive self talk, and how we can talk ourselves out of stress eating, talking ourselves out of doing things that we know that we don't need to do because we deserve to put ourselves first and not last. To everybody is included, ladies and gentlemen, everybody. We deserve to treat ourselves appropriately. You deserve to treat yourself with love, with respect, with kindness, compassion, and dignity. but you're the one that has to do the work. You're the one that has to stand up for yourself and to say, it's time for me to take better care of myself. And we don't want to wait until we get to the point where we start having some health problems, some health issues, anxiety and depression. I don't want anybody to get into that space. um, I've struggled with anxiety off and on the majority of my life. I've suffered with depression on and off for so much periods of time in my life, but I notice when I'm eating better, when I'm exercising, when I'm managing my stress, I'm able to feel better and be better. So something that I wanted to say to maybe somebody else that may be struggling this summer. Try your best to keep a schedule and then stick to it, for your self love, for your self care. And sometimes self care means to get yourself some sleep, especially if you're a person like myself who suffers with insomnia. You know, you have to do something to calm your mind, maybe some deep breathing, reading a book, journaling your day, doing something that will calm your mind, body, and spirit so that you can rest. That's why we're going to be having these conversations every single Friday and talking about some of the things that we have enacted, that we have started, so that we can help others, because this is a community of love and we support and help one another. And I was thinking about what I could add to my summer of love routine. And I think a great thing for myself, and maybe some somebody else will, join in on this. I'm trying my best to increase my water consumption. No matter what I do, I cannot drink enough water. I'm not terrible at drinking water, but I know that I can definitely improve. And I know that while it's going to get hotter and hotter, that we need to drink more water and we need to keep ourselves cool. And it follows so many things. When we are hydrated, we not only feel better, we calm down, we cool off. So, and it's good for our body, it's good for our health. So, I was thinking about, if do you guys have a water app? Um, I recently discovered, what is that? I'll put it in the description box when this live ends. But I found an app that it will ping every time, like, time to drink some water. Like it will tell me like how much water to drink, an ounce, 2 ounces, because in our day to day life of being busy, working, taking care of our family, being responsible, out and about, we forget to take that water, to eat the food, to do the things that we should do, but because of life and being busy, we just put it off. So I like having an app that holds me accountable, and making sure that I'm drinking enough water for the day. And it tells me, like, you have to put your goal in. How much water do you want to drink for that day? um, 24 ounces, 64 ounces, 100 ounces, and then it will tell you, have another um, sip of water. It will track how many ounces you drink, and I found that I'm doing better with drinking water. Um, yes, I do need an app to remind me to drink water, because I'm not a person who likes water. I don't like water. And when you're developing healthy habits, you have to get out of the wanting to have soda and juice. So that's why I have an app that tracks my water consumption and reminds me, as a friendly reminder. It's just like my friend to say, okay, take care of yourself, have a little bit more water. So that's been working great for me. I started off with drinking 24, not 24, what is two bottle water? 32. I started off with 32 and now I'm up to 37. So, I'm trying to improve that. Maybe by the end of the summer, I can get to a space where I can drink 3 whole bottles of water and and not be drinking so much sugar because I am pre what predisposed to diabetes, to high blood pressure, and to some other things. Um, Sirius says, I have this app called Calm. It has different stress and anxiety relievers. It helps tremendously with deep breathing as well. Oh, that sounds great. Um, Sirius, I like that. I like that a lot. Is it an expensive app to use? Um, so I have that app going, and I am trying to do some other things. Like I know some people, they are a part of they have some apps that remind them to take a few steps to get active because many people, like myself, they sit behind a desk. You need to be reminded to get yourself moving every so often, every half an hour, 45 minutes, take some steps because those steps, it helps with keeping our circulation going. It's good for our mental health. Go for a short walk, take 50 steps. So I think all of these things are good things. They're good reminders, and it helps us because this is a summer of how we're going to love ourselves even better than last summer. I don't know what happened last summer, and we're not going to be concerned with last summer. We're going to focus on this summer and making it great. So, we're going to focus on having better mental health. We're going to focus in on drinking more water. We're going to focus in on keeping our stress down. We're going to focus on getting exercise, and we're going to focus on having healthy relationships. I think this is a good place for us to start. And most definitely, we're going to pick up next week. And I hope that more of us can chime in. Um, Sirius says, no, it's not expensive. They have a special going on, 39 a year. Usually it's 69. Oh, that is pretty cheap. That's like about $2 a month or less. Hmm. I'll definitely have to check into that because I think before I had to look at that, and I believe that I had saw that it was like about 70. It was like 75 at the time, and I think I had skipped over it because at the time I could not afford that in my budget. But if it's 39 for a year, I definitely could try that out and test it out, especially if you're recommending it. Serious, I'm sure it's amazing. So that's what we're going to try to do. I want you guys to think about some things that you can do for this summer. And we're going to tap back in on next Friday about the same time. And I want to hear what you guys think. What do you guys think? What do you guys want to do? Are you going to do something better? Like, are you going to cut back on salt, cut back on sugar? Are you going to exercise? And then how are you going to get to that? Because it's easy to talk about things, but it's a whole nother thing to do it. So we're going to not be talkers. We're going to actively participate in making our summer great. And we can only make our summer great by having a plan. So next week, in week 2 of Summer of Love, how we're going to make our summer great, we're going to talk about what we took from last week and what we're going to do right now. So I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say, what you guys have done to add. I'm going to start taking some notes of some things that I'm going to do for stress relief, for my mental health, for eating, and for increasing my water consumption, and so much other things, because we're all here to help one another. I want you guys to be better, happier, healthier, and at more peace. I think that's so important. It's important for us to be healthy, happy, and at peace, but we're the ones that have to take charge and make our lives better, one day at a time, one decision at a time, because we deserve it and because we're enough. You are enough. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And I can't wait to hear what you guys will tell me next week when we tap in for part 2 on the summer of love. Um, how we're going to love ourselves more this summer. You know, people usually focus on vacations and, doing something quick so that they can lose weight just for the summer. But we're going to continue this because after summer of love, we're going to turn it into um, fall of love, and then winter of love, and keep this thing going so we can make this an ongoing thing of every season in our life. We're going to be working on how we can love ourselves better. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I am Love Marlene 411, your channel for all of the love things. Because when we learn to love ourselves better, we can show up healthy, happy, and at peace. Thank you guys for your support. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe. And I will most definitely will see you guys on the next live stream, premiere, or video. Have a good night, everybody.